What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Steel City Sagas. It's Hot Mike Sports. It's your host, Dev. We're going to get right into it, y'all. Pittsburgh Nation, Steeler Nation, Pittsburgh fans. How's it going? Looks like this is another end of a season where we get bounced out in the first round. It's been an interesting season, hasn't it? Seems like a movie we already watched before, and we just watching it again on rerun. One of the most loyal fan bases. We've really shown our colors this year that we need to change, y'all. And we got that change. Mike Tomlin no longer with us, stepped down at the head coach position. Steeler Nation was calling for his head, it just seems like a month ago. And now here we are in the same position that we were last year. Still needing a quarterback. Only this time, now we have questions about who's going to be our next head coach. And I'm not sitting here going to bash Mike Tomlin for anything because he did what he was supposed to do. 119 wins, 114 losses, and 2 draws in his coaching career in 19 seasons. Took us to 2 Super Bowls. He won one, lost one to Aaron Rodgers. The irony in that, right? However, a lot of people said from the beginning that those Pittsburgh Steelers teams at the beginning were not Tomlin's teams. They were Bill Cowher teams. But he still got the most out of them that he could for whatever was left in their careers. Some legendary players, Debo Harrison, Troy Polamalu, Casey Hampton, just to name a few. And we can't forget the great Ben Roethlisberger. Tomlin inherited some great talent, some legends of the game, and he was able to maximize that for as long as he had them. But this isn't about that. Out of the 19 seasons he coached, he made the playoffs 13 times. 1 Super Bowl. We have not been to a AFC championship, a Super Bowl game in a long time. First round exits, the last few times we've been in the playoffs, haven't won a playoff game since 2016. And then, to top it all off, the quarterback carousel after Ben Roethlisberger retired. A few things we've been dealing with at the end of the Mike Tomlin era. And hopefully these things that we're going to with our next head coach, we can figure it out and get our franchise back on top where it belongs as one of the true blue buds in the league. However, whoever's coaching this team next is going to have their hands full because we all know those expectations will not be small at all, y'all. Now, Mike Tomlin, 8-12 in his postseason career. It is a losing record. Despite never having a losing season, those blemishes stand out more than never having a losing season, in my opinion, when you're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Pittsburgh tradition of Super Bowls, legendary defenses, and legendary players. So we're going into 2026 with a question mark at the quarterback position and a question mark at the head coaching position. This is going to be on Omar Khan now, y'all. We put it on Mike Tomlin. He did what he could do, but now it's up to management and the upper management and leadership of this team. Where do we go from here? We know the blueprint. Legendary defenses, legendary players, right? But over the last few seasons, we have not seen that. We've been spending money in free agency, one of the oldest rosters in the league. We're going to have to find a way to replace this old talent on the roster with some young, up-and-coming players. Now, we do have a few highlights and spotlights on offense and defense. We got a good young O-line. Let's get some wide receivers and a quarterback and build around it. We drafted Will Howard from Ohio State. Maybe we'll see what he's made of. As far as on the defensive side of the ball, we still got T.J. Watt. We still got Cam Hayward. However, they are aging. No longer in their primes, but still effective. So the next head coach is going to have to figure out how to maximize what he has left out of those legendary players and bring in some young legendary players of his own. And we all know we're one of the most loyal fan bases in the league. One of the highest expectations are going to come coaching this Pittsburgh Steelers team, and we all know that. Now, moving past Mike Tomlin, let's talk about a few things that we're concerned about moving forward, starting with the quarterback. We've been mediocre for the last few years. We have not finished bad enough to draft a franchise quarterback, and we haven't been good enough to actually go deep into the playoffs. So we've always kind of been in this middle-of-the-road mediocrity, right? So with that being said, we've had some opportunities to get some quarterbacks. Shedeur Sanders last year, we passed on him. And I think that Kenny Pickett, we all knew wasn't the answer to begin with. He was just kind of a filler. Because, once again, we didn't get to see Mike Tomlin build any quarterbacks. Not build them, but help produce one who can grow and become a franchise quarterback. These have seemed to be the holes in the Pittsburgh organization over the last few years. And now it's time moving forward to see what we're going to do. Because we still have Lamar Jackson in our division and Joe Burrow in our division. Kyler Murray is a free agent. Let's see if we make a move. Because right now we have not had the privilege, right, of starting over with a young quarterback and building around him and seeing what we can do. We've kind of been waiting, but we all know that game where Mike Tomlin was booed, the writing was on the wall after that. We all know that. So, since we don't have a quarterback after his departure, what are we going to do? Are we going to look to the draft? Are we going to look to free agency? I mean, we passed on a couple of guys last year, and they're doing pretty okay. Sam Darnold being one of them in Seattle right now. And when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, yeah, we would like to have him back for one more season maybe. We still saw that he has the arm talent, but he couldn't get away from anybody. And with going out the way we just went out in this playoff game this year, Houston Texans defense, number one defense, not taking nothing away from them. But what would have happened if we had a mobile quarterback? A quarterback that can play in today's game, today's generation. I'm not saying we need to get away from defense completely, but it is an offensive league now. We need a young-minded offensive coach who does not mind the owner and the GM spending money on offense. We got DK Metcalf. We got Jalen Warren. We got Kenneth Gainwell. We got Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington. We have some things to build around on offense. I don't think the defense is going to be the problem moving forward. However, Pittsburgh is known for their defense. But the one thing that's been holding us back has been the offense. We have not been able to produce no top-tier offenses since Big Ben, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell was on the field. Now, like I said before, this is a movie we've all seen the ending to, and it's finally come to an end for the last time. This season was the season of transition for us. It's going to be the first season where we figured out the way that we were doing it for the last few years was not working. The fans saw it first. The organization saw it later. So while they did allow Mike Tomlin to bow out with some grace, I think no matter what would have happened, he would have been gone anyways. Now, let's talk about our division. Like I mentioned, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, two franchises with young quarterbacks that you can build around. We don't have that. So it's going to be up to Omar Khan and his ownership to right the ship. Mike Tomlin will no longer be a scapegoat. Mike Tomlin will no longer be the target in our eyes. Now the target in our eyes is going to be the organization. We have to see if Omar Khan and the Rooneys are going to get up with the times and develop with the league, or are they going to keep trying the same old traditional blueprint? We all love the traditional blueprint, don't get me wrong. That's what made the Steelers who they are. But now it's time to evolve. It's time to evolve into a team that not only you look at that shield and you say, you know what, we respect that organization, but now they need to look at that shield and respect our team. Because it's been a while since we've been able to put a team on the field that strikes fear in our opponents. And that's what we're used to. And that's what we have to get back to. So moving forward, Pittsburgh fans, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to be able to get a solid quarterback? Do you think we're going to build around Will Howard? Do you think we're going to continue to make moves in the offseason and free agency? Something that we rarely ever do other than this past season. TJ Watt, what production do we have left out of him? Cam Hayward, what production do we have left out of him? I still think they can produce. However, these are not the stars that they once were. And just like we saw Ben Roethlisberger and Marquise Pouncey retire, we have to get ready for that. Those two guys are going to go out pretty soon too. And we're also going to have to look at getting younger stars on this defense in the secondary. Joey Porter Jr. is going to be great. Jalen Ramsey, hopefully we can keep him for a couple more years. But other than them two, we need to improve our secondary. We need to get back to those fast linebackers. Don't get me wrong, Patrick Queen's good, but he doesn't have the football IQ of a true Mike. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, our ends, our rushers. This is who we have right now. I'm just throwing some names out there to get the wheels turning in your mind that how long do we have these players? We just watched Mike Tomlin step down. So with that being said, the NFL is going towards mobile quarterbacks and high-producing offenses. And in the AFC, you already have Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May. These are guys who've made plays. These are guys who have shown that they can carry their franchises moving forward at the quarterback position that we don't have. But how did New England get Drake May? They had to lose. And that's something we may have to prepare for, Steeler Nation. We may have to prepare for a couple of losing seasons to make that deposit into the bank, to make that huge withdrawal at the end. And hopefully that's something that we can do. Because with this team moving forward and this organization moving forward, we need something, some form of hope that we can say, hey, Steeler Nation, we on the way back. Because we all know mediocrity ain't it. Getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs ain't it. Because if it was, we would still have Mike Tomlin. And this isn't a shot at Mike Tomlin because out of his career, he won 63% of the time. And that's impressive. But there's some coaches out there that I feel like can help us move forward. So hopefully Steeler Nation, we get a coach moving forward. We get a quarterback moving forward. We get Omar Khan who can actually build around this team and put some pieces in place for a young future. But what's next? That's the $1 million question for Steeler Nation. What is next? Because now we have the biggest question mark that we have not had in the last 20 years, y'all. Who is going to be the next Pittsburgh Steelers head coach? This is Devin Hot Mike Sports. I appreciate you for joining me this season with Steel City Sagas. The show must go on, and it will. You can catch me next Wednesday on our brand new episode here at YouTube. But what do we do now, Steeler Nation? We keep our head held high. We hold on to our terrible towels until next season. And we always remember, it's black and gold until we dead and cold, y'all. This is Dev signing off. I'll see you next time.